Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, the tabernacle of David, that are to be the new government here on earth. All right, the tabernacle of David, which are the 12,000 men from each of the 12 tribes of Israel, the 144,000 that are to be the new government here on earth over all the nations of the world. And to the rest of the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth, that be like unto the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigners among the heathen nations, that have the appearance of the heathen nations. This is not a black only thing. And to the few Akwaf that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom, and rest assured Yahushai, who the world fraudulently and falsely calls JC, is coming back to establish the kingdom of heaven and his new government. All right. So these people are going to fail. And Christianity tries to downplay the lineage of the 12 tribes of Israel, the lineage of the kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of Israel. All right. That is the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom is the kingdom of Israel, which will be here on earth as it is in heaven, just like the Lord's Prayer says. All right. So today I have a series of videos. This one that I got right here that I got pulled out of the orders. I'm going to play read a couple of scriptures, play the first 5 minutes. And then I have a series of videos that I got from my beloved April O'Neil that I want to play. And I'm actually going to let these videos just play. I'll bring out scriptures before or after, because they're pretty much speaking for themselves, the same as the scriptures. And what you're seeing in the mainstream media here in America is fraud and lies. All right. However, I did rather enjoy video, and I think I may have deleted it on accident, but it's a video of Stephen Miller admitting that they went in there, it was a power move, and that they went in there they went into Venezuela is when they went in there is what I meant. They went in there because they could, because we are a superpower, he said. And that when we can, and we couldn't have our enemies setting up shop in our backyard. And he projected, and then and the thing is that what he was complaining about is what America has been doing to Russia and China for decades, putting NATO bases and American bases closer and closer to their borders. All right. So Venezuela, Colombia, Panama Canal, Cuba, Greenland, and Canada is what they want, and they're going to try to take it. The same way that memo went, and the general brought it up. I forget the general's name, and they mentioned Iraq, Libya, Somalia, and all those Western Asian, Northeastern, and North Africa places. And the last one on there was Iran. And Iraq was one, it's the same thing happening all over again. And I heard someone say it, and I have to repeat it, but basically, America is the hammer of the earth right now. Okay? And it is the hand of B.B. Milkowski that's swinging that hammer. Okay? America is subject to the Israelis. It would even a blind man, Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, could see that the American government has clearly been compromised, which is why you can't speak about this particular. Why is it that you can't speak about a nation of people and a religious group of people that really have nothing to do with your country, but you can get in trouble and get demonetized and everything and go to jail for 5 years And you don't even have to say anything bad. You can just not agree with them. Think about it. So when it comes to what they're doing, let me bring out this scripture. My first scripture is 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And it reads, "And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the work of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved." Esau Edom is that wicked man, and he is being revealed by the words of this Bible, which is coming out of the mouth of the Lord's prophets. You can see the name and title of the video at the bottom of the screen. I highly suggest that you watch the whole video. I'm just going to play like the first 5 minutes.
In diplomatic circles, in history textbooks, in tourist brochures, the world's longest undefended border, nearly 9,000 kilometers, stretching from the Atlantic to the Pacific, separating two nations that have been at peace for over 200 years. It's a symbol of trust, of cooperation, of what neighbors should be. But symbols have a dangerous quality. They let us believe things are stable when the ground beneath them is already cracking. This week, we need to talk about what's happening between Canada and the United States. Not the sanitized version you'll hear from politicians. Not the talking points designed to calm investors. The reality. Because what's unfolding right now is not just a trade dispute. It's the quiet unraveling of an economic relationship that generations took for granted. And the rupture is already showing up in places Washington isn't even looking. Let me start with something concrete, something you can measure. Tourism. In the past 6 months, Canadians have been canceling trips to the United States at a scale that border state economies have never seen. Hotels in Buffalo are reporting vacancy rates they haven't experienced outside of a recession. Restaurants in Detroit are cutting staff hours. Ski resorts in Vermont are watching their seasonal projections collapse. This isn't an accident. This isn't weather or gas prices or some random consumer trend. This is behavioral economics playing out in real time. And it's a signal that should terrify anyone paying attention. Because tourism is a trust-based industry. You don't visit a place you don't feel good about. You don't spend money in a country that just threatened to annex yours as a joke. Or maybe it wasn't a joke. That's the problem. Nobody knows anymore. And when trust evaporates, spending follows. Now, politicians will tell you that tariffs are about protection. They'll say we need to defend American workers, American industries, American sovereignty. It's a compelling story. It's simple. It's emotionally satisfying. It's also economically illiterate. Here's how tariffs actually work. The importer pays the tariff, not the foreign country, not the foreign company. The American business importing the goods pays the tax. And then, because businesses don't absorb costs out of charity, they pass that cost to you, the consumer. So when you hear we're putting a 25% tariff on Canadian goods, what you should hear is American companies are about to pay 25% more, and you're about to pay them back at the register. But it gets worse. Because the United States and Canada don't have separate economies that happen to trade with each other, they have an integrated economy that has been built over decades. Let me give you an example. A single automobile crosses the U.S.-Canada border an average of 7 times during its production. The steel is smelted in Hamilton. The parts are machined in Michigan. The assembly happens in Ontario. The final finishing is done in Kentucky. One product, multiple border crossings. That's not trade. That's a supply chain. And when you disrupt a supply chain with tariffs, with threats, with political theater, you don't protect jobs. You destroy the entire system. The plant in Michigan loses its supplier. The factory in Ontario loses its buyer. The workers on both sides lose their paychecks. This is what happens when you apply zero-sum thinking to a positive-sum system. Complex systems don't bend, they break. And once they break, they don't go back together easily.
They're never going to go back together again. So what Trump is doing, and this is all going to lead to what's happening in Venezuela, is he's going to war with every nation on his border. Mexico is also in that crosshairs. All right. This is 2 Thessalonians 2:8 in the AMP. And it reads, then the lawless one, the Antichrist in parentheses, will be revealed. All right. And the Antichrist is a system of things, not just one thing. Anything that's against the scriptures is an Antichrist. All right. And the Lord Yahushua will slay him with the breath of his mouth and bring him to an end by the appearance of his coming. And then it has a precept of Isaiah 11:4. Well, Isaiah 11 is talking about the house of David, just like I speak about in my opening statement in every video that I do. The Lord is coming to set up the house of David here on earth, which is the kingdom of heaven, which will be ruled. He's going to give the authority to his judges, 12,000 judges from each of the 12 tribes, 144,000, with King David sitting at the head of that yet again. David was promised the kingdom forever. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to go to the next video. Put that Bible down. And here we go. Also, before I play the video, let me read this one. This is Wisdom of Solomon. Because this is what's happening down in South America. Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. And that's pretty much what Butthead, Stephen Miller, what he said when he said we are a superpower. Basically, we don't have to explain shit to you because we're a superpower. It's pretty much what he said. You know, his words. This dude right here. Butthead. So let's go right to the video. I thought that picture was pretty accurate. So let's start here with hers.
So clear that the Trump administration had not a single clue about what came next after they captured Venezuelan president. Because here's what's happened. The vice president of Venezuela, Darcy Rodriguez, she's been sworn in as president of Venezuela. She immediately said that President Maduro's reign as president was valid and that Venezuela would use all of their resources to protect Venezuela, its land, and its people. Guess what else? She's in Russia right now. That's right. The acting president of Venezuela went to Russia for protection, and Russia has denounced the United States. Who else is aligned with Venezuela? Iran and China. So now what has happened is we have tried to take the leader of a country, and that country stood up and said, no, he is our president and we are going to fight you. And now they have allies all around the world. This is the dumbest thing in a year of dumbery that I have never seen the likes of. Guys, this is really going to be the situation where the United States is about to learn that we don't run the world. They didn't have a plan or a clue about what was to happen next. And now they have just set it up for the entire world to be opposed to the United States. And maybe that's what needs to happen at this point. Maybe that will bring some sense back into this country and about where our place is in the world. Go out there and love your neighbor. It is
So, you know, the saying FAFO has become popular in America, and a lot of these proud fools were spurting it out, when the fact is that they're the ones who just fucked around and about to find out. Another scripture comes to mind. Then we'll play the next video, which is Isaiah 14 and 10. And they speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? See, all these smaller nations who wouldn't dare buck up, or these, you know, are now speaking against America and what, you know, and what Babylon is doing. And as the list of Babylon allies has shrunk and it continues to shrink. Okay. So let's go back. And next video. Because what you're seeing, you know, they've been talking about this other chick that they put into office. And that's, you know, once again, you get lies when you watch American media. You get a lot of lies. You don't get a lot of truth. And you have to watch the different medias around the world. The vice president got sworn in and went straight to Russia for protection. So this other person that America is saying, this other lady, she's not the president. The vice president got sworn in, and the vice president is saying that Maduro is the true president, regardless of what you think about him, or, you know, whatever. But that's what they're saying. But here we go.
According to news reports, they're saying that China had officials in Venezuela when the U.S. struck them. And not only that, they are now saying that either they are unalived or they are missing and unaccounted for. If it turns out that there were very high China diplomats that were unalived during this strike in Venezuela, you all know what that means, right? I hope everyone understands what that would mean, because it will not be good for us. We don't have the bandwidth to do any kind of war with China. We don't have the manpower. We don't have the technology. We don't have the economy. So if any of this turns out to be accurate, we're fucked. And that's a fact. According to...
And not the type of fuck that you like either. Okay? Because you can see the repeat of ancient Rome happening again in this modern version of Rome, in the continuation, because America is the continuation of the fourth beast. America is Rome all over again. All right? And just like in ancient Rome, all the Romans did was worship ancient black Babylonian gods and just renamed them and changed their faces to pale. And it's the same bullshit that they're doing now. Nothing has changed. And yeah, because Babylonians were a dark race of people. You know, for you people out there who don't know that, or, you know now. Okay? And I'll do another lesson to prove it for anyone who, you know, wants to fix their lips and say some dumb shit. But here we go.
So the United States government has now broken UN policy and committed acts of war, and we are now the aggressors. It was against policy, it was against Congress. It's basically illegal. These are basically war crimes that are being committed because we didn't have any imminent threat of being attacked. We didn't have any imminent threat of being invaded. It was just the premise that we have a drug problem, but we've had drug problems since the fucking 80s. We're going to fight against these fucking drugs, against the fentanyl. Against
and let's stop right there.
Who's buying the fucking drugs?
It's not only that. In the 80s, it was the American government bringing them in. All you got to do is just go watch, and you know, then the cocaine, then the crack epidemic. Crack was created in a lab, you know, by white people. The CIA is controlled by so-called white people. And they were the ones that brought it into America and flooded it into the neighborhoods, mainly so-called black and brown neighborhoods, and created the whole crack epidemic, which also made AIDS spread. And they did that. Yeah. It's a high desire, want economy for drugs here in America. Not to mention that it also fed into their crooked law system where they railroaded. So they either made money from insurance, they made money from the you know, with the undertaker business, and they made money hand over fist. They filled up those private prisons. So they wanted that. They created an economy out of those drugs. All right. I guess what they weren't counting on was so many pale people doing drugs and getting involved with it outside of the lawfully being on the law side of the house to bringing them in. All right. So, let's go to the next scripture. To the next video with the teacher here. And this is a good one. I've been anxious to get to hers. Here we go.
Well, the propaganda has already started, dear. Let's talk about it. Now, firstly, I must say with my full chest today, Maduro was a bad guy in every kind of way. But the propaganda they're already putting on display, they're trying to tell you that the people of Venezuela are out in the streets celebrating the kidnapping and the capturing of Maduro. And that is a direct quote from those up there on the Hill today. And it's not true. It's an absolute lie. They're banking on the fact that you're not going to go to international news and peep on in to see what's going on. But I do this daily because we're lied to here in the US of A. So I rely on international news to tell me what the fuck's going on most days.
Mm-hmm.
There's actual international journalists on the ground today in Venezuela. I've seen several bits of footage and interviews, and nobody, and I do mean nobody, is celebrating in the streets of Venezuela. The clips you're going to see on social media and your TV today of Venezuelans celebrating the capturing of Maduro, they're not in Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, there are people celebrating the capturing of Maduro today. They're Venezuelans who live in Chile. Venezuelans who are currently in Spain and Madrid, they're celebrating. But the actual people living in Venezuela today are terrified. Daddy Duppy Pants got up there and did his little Christopher Columbus dance and told you that the U.S. has complete and total control over Venezuela today, and that was also a lie.
A bold-faced lie.
You see, there was somebody that was a second in charge to Maduro, a lady, and she has already been sworn in as their acting and sitting president.
American media has ignored that.
And she's already released a statement, too. She wasn't praising the USA, boo. She called for the immediate release of Maduro and his wife. She declared with her full chest in her speech that Maduro is the rightful president. So this is far from fucking over. And we are far from having control over Venezuela today. The current regime, either they're ignorant as they can be, or they're banking on the fact that you don't know there are several different factions fighting for power within Venezuela today.
The people being interviewed in the streets of Venezuela are expressing their concern and their fear and their despair because they are very fucking aware that a regime change does not happen easily and that all these factions are going to start fighting each other daily, effectively putting free people, citizens just trying to go to work and earn a wage is going to put their life in danger. People are scared to leave their homes today because they think they're going to be shot in the street, and they don't know if it's going to come from one of these factions of other regimes or from the U.S. today. They're terrified. They've expressed their understanding of the mess that is going on and how no matter what propaganda is on your TV in the US of A, it's not that easy, it's not that simple, and it's not that fucking clear today, and they know there will be a loss of life. Innocence. Daddy Dumpy Pants stood up there and told you that we got out of there clear and easy and nobody was shot, nobody was harmed. It was quick. It was the most efficient thing you had ever seen. He said it was like watching a movie on TV. He bragged about it. Yes, he did. But he did not tell you that shots were fired the fuck back, boo. As a matter of fact, missiles were shot at a helicopter. Yeah. Not so smooth like they told you. They don't have control over Venezuela today. And the only way to grab control over Venezuela today is to have lots of boots on the ground.
Yep.
They're going to have to hem up the new president, too. Because she's fighting for Maduro, boo. The United States is not telling you that in Venezuela they have a militia that is over 6 million strong.
Yep.
This militia is not just in Venezuela, but in surrounding countries, too. They didn't tell you or warn you about that, did they, boo?
Nope, they're organizing and coming together.
6 million. If they start to fight back, this is a full-scale war. The current administration has yet to tell you that there's already been a statement released out of Russia today. That's right, their foreign minister has released a statement too, telling the US of A to back the fuck away.
Yeah, this thing is about to get hot, man, because the only way you can take Venezuela is with boots on the grounds, and America doesn't have the forces to do that. Especially when you consider everything else is going on, and then the collection of nations that they will be facing that will come against them. This is Habakkuk 2 and 1, and it reads not 2 and 1, but 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up in him is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yeah, because he transgresseth by wine, that's his philosophies, his democracy, and he is a proud man, and democracy is completely against biblical principles. All right, no matter what they say, when you break it down, because you look at what they accept and what they allow as they scream and claim to be a biblical society, yeah, democracy is clearly against the Bible. But it says, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell. So he brings hell wherever he goes with it, and to get his desires. And he is as death, and he brings death, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto himself all nations, and heapeth unto himself all people. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. See, it's America's own debt, its own fractional reserve banking system that has gotten himself into this system. And America, Edomite, the Monroe Doctrine, the Edomite way, by the sword thou shalt live. That means you use your strength, your military, and your sword to take other people's shit. The problem with today is They're coming to take everyone's shit with their swords, but now everybody else got swords too. See, they got a problem now. Let's go to the next video.
News right now, after it was reported that Donald Trump didn't pick Maria Corina Machado to run Venezuela because she didn't essentially give up the Nobel Peace Prize for him, tonight she appeared on Sean Hannity's show on Fox News, publicly lobbying Donald Trump through Sean Hannity and to the American people.
What's this one is, you know what? I'm not even going to play this one because she's not the president. The other woman was sworn in. All right. So we just leave that one alone. We're going to go straight to this one.
Is tired of pretending now. They're just tired of pretending. They don't want to explain or justify or convince anybody anymore. They just want to be obeyed.
Yep.
No questions asked. You get it? Everybody that used to help them write their press releases has moved on. You know, everyone that used to help them craft their narratives and whatnot, their spin doctors, their image consultants, you know, they all got better offers. They're all in Dubai. So no one's there now to put Uncle Sam's makeup on. You know, his speechwriter's all left and his teleprompter is broken. And so now Uncle Sam himself can't be bothered. He doesn't have the skills.
There was a time when America felt the need to justify its wars, dressing interventions up as freedom, security, or humanitarian duty.
Gotta bring them some
democracy.
democracy.
Mass destruction in Iraq to make it palatable to the world. Now it barely bothers. The mask has slipped. It no longer tries to look good to the world because it no longer feels it has to.
Yep. So that's why Stephen Miller so boldly said what he said. All right. Like this. Come on now.
The United States is using its military to secure our interests unapologetically in our hemisphere. We're a superpower, and under President Trump, we are going to conduct ourselves as a superpower. It is absurd that we would allow a nation in our own backyard to become the supplier of resources to our adversaries, but not to us, to hoard weapons.
Same thing they did with NATO to Russia and China. Putting all those NATO and military bases so close to Russia and China, antagonize them. There is America that actually started that. And you hear that this little midget, this short booty head motherfucker, how proud he is. I can't stand this little bastard or his funny looking wife. And fuck their ugly little kids, too.
From our adversaries, to be able to be positioned as an asset against the United States rather than on behalf of the United States.
Sovereign countries shouldn't be able to do what they want to do.
The Monroe Doctrine and the Trump Doctrine is all about securing the national interests of America. For years, we sent our soldiers to die in deserts in the Middle East to try to build them parliaments, to try to build them democracies, to try to give them more oil, to try to give them more resources. The future of the free world, Jake, depends on America being able to assert ourselves and our interests.
He said hemisphere, not within American borders.
Period that happened after World War II, where the West began apologizing and groveling and begging
I don't even
and
know
engaging these
honestly what you're talking about right now.
What I'm talking about, Jake, is the idea.
What he's talking about is Edomite hegemony, Edomite superiority, the myth of white superiority. How dare you challenge our whiteness? How dare you speak against us? We're the only ones qualified to lead. You will follow and not question. That's literally what he's saying.
Yeah, and by the way, you do. I know you love doing that smarmy thing, Jake, and I was hoping to be better than that this time.
Basically, Jake, get with the whiteness, bro. That's what he's saying. I can't stand this booty bitch nigga, man. Go.
Exactly.
I asked you if there would be an election in Venezuela. That's what I asked. I said, why was the president so quick to dismiss Machado? You answered that question. And then I said,
Jake, is security and stability for the people of Venezuela. With our help and leadership, that country will become more prosperous
you hear
than
this?
it's ever been in its whole history.
That our help and leadership, like they need you. the nerve of these devils, man. And that goes right back to Wisdom of Solomon. Let our strength be the law of justice. And the hell with the law, international law, The hell with Congress. The hell with. They do things without even going up the chain of command, without even using the proper channels, man. Okay, this is Micah 2 and verses 1 through 3. And it reads, "Woe unto them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Therefore thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for the time is evil. The Lord promised the evil against the house of Esau Edom, which booty face, booty head, butt head Stephen Miller is a part of. He is an Edomite. All right. He is an Edomite. Those Khazar deniers are Edomites. Okay. Let's play next couple videos. Get ready to wrap this up.
Got something today in Trump's Greenland talk. Listen and see if you hear it.
We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place.
Now look out here on this map. So you don't actually ever see Greenland like this unless you're looking at a globe because it's up high.
Yep.
But you see how it's in between Canada and Russia?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what he said about Canada.
They don't have any military protection because and you take a look at what's going on out there. You have Russian ships, you have China ships, you have Chinese ships.
So after he takes Greenland to save them from China and Russia, he will then go after Canada to save them from China and Russia. And then look what he says next.
You know, people are in danger. This is a different world today. It's a different world.
Remember, Trump tells everything before he does it.
Right. And that's exactly why I played the first video about Canada. The one that's on the screen here. All right. And this video here was the president of Denmark saying that if U.S. was to attack Greenland, it would mean the end of NATO, and it would. And it was going to bring everyone against him. So let's play this one first with Saban here, the little Irish chick.
Figure out why Dumpy Butt keeps bringing up the Monroe Doctrine, and then he keeps calling.
Okay, so the Monroe Doctrine. Once again, that's how they took or added the Panama Canal, which is why he believes that everything from that whole land, that whole region, hemisphere, like Butthead said, belongs to America. These people that lost their mind. He said in the Western in our part of the hemisphere, not America.
Venezuela's oil, our oil, U.S. oil, because it's our oil, right? It's my oil. And I'm like, what is he talking about? So then I'm looking at the map of South America. I'm looking at it. I'm like, he's fucking with Colombia too. And the Colombian president is not fucking having it. And they have completely tightened up their border with Venezuela. And then I got thinking, oh, the Panama Canal. Bibi was Mar-a-Lago when Maduro got taken from Venezuela. Bibi's trying to turn that whole Middle Eastern area into Greater Israel, and they're trying to create their own canal. That's why they're bombing.
Remember, Bibi is the one swinging that hammer. The hammer is America. Bibi is in control. All right? Donald Trump does what Bibi says.
Gaza, right, blow it the fuck up because they're putting their own canal in because they can't get the Suez Canal because the Egyptians nationalized it, right? The Panama Canal, that got put in by Teddy Roosevelt. That's why Dumpy Butt says Venezuela oil. is ours. It's
Yep.
his. He thinks it's his because the Panama Canal was built by the U.S. via Teddy Roosevelt, utilizing the Monroe Doctrine. This is fucking crazy because he needs the ground in Venezuela to fuck up Colombia, to get go south to north to the Panama Canal, because going down through Central America, those mountains and everything, it's a fucking nightmare.
Especially with that 6 million strong militia. All right?
It's not good. It's not good. Our troops will not do well.
Not only that, our troops have been training for desert and urban combat. They are not ready for jungle warfare. My era was the last era for jungle warfare. I trained for nothing but jungle warfare, and then a year after I got off active duty and went to the reserves and went to a different branch of service and got a whole different job that was no longer combat. That's when, the Gulf War and all that stuff kicked off. So since then, since the Gulf War, America hasn't trained for jungle warfare at all. They get into a fight with the Colombians and get into a fight with those militias. They're fucked.
That's just not. So they need to go through Colombia. You see what I'm saying here? Yes, it's about oil, but it's not about Venezuela's oil. It's about the Panama Canal. And why did they just give $40 billion to Argentina?
Mm-hmm.
This fuckery is fucking around. I'm trying to...
So, let's get the last couple scriptures and get ready to wrap this up. Okay? Because their pomp is bringing them down, man. Being pompous and arrogant, and it's really screwing them up. This is Isaiah 14:11. And it reads, "Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vials and the worm is spread under thee, and worms cover thee." And basically, worms are associated with death. The whole American system is falling and is basically covered in worms. It is dying. And just like this in its first video, it's broken, and it cannot and will not be fixed. Like I said, they would have healed Babylon. They can't heal Babylon. Babylon is done. And the nations hate this whore, and they're about to shoot arrows on her. This is Revelation 17:16. And it reads, "And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast," all right? Remember what the woman, the Denmark president, said about them going after Greenland and Canada. Okay? Which the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The NATO is going to turn on America right along with the other BRICS countries. "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." Hey, look, get prayed up. 2026, he said the year of the apostates and the fallouts. I forget the exact wording. I got to get that right. Yeah, this could very well be it. I don't see them coming back from this one. So with that, all praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rekah HaKodash, Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal.